Well, hello everybody. Welcome back. Jiu-Jitsu 2000 here today. I'm back. Man, I've got an interesting video for you. This is 2018 overnighter for March. This is round 3. Take a look at this area. Man, this is such a beautiful area. Over here on my left, there's a dust devil behind me. Over there, like a mini tornado. I am out in a very remote location. My daughter and I came out here for round 1. You know, we came out here. I did post that footage. I want to show you off here in the distance in front of me. Right off here where I was coming from. You can see way off in the distance it looks like water, but folks, that's not water. Let me raise this up. Hopefully you can get a good vantage point of that from here. That is a mirage. That's a fake water. So anyway, back to the story. My daughter and I came out here and we shot some video, and it was tough. We ended up getting windy out here. We didn't expect the wind to pick up like it did, and it got to the point where the footage that we shot just didn't end up being sufficient to make a video. So we thought we'd go home and come back and try it again. But we noticed once we got home that we were sore for a couple of days after that, because there's a lot of hiking involved to come out to this area where I'm at. So what I did is I wanted to find out how far is it, or how far were we hiking. Looks like I got some stuff on the lens here. I wanted to find out how far we were hiking. So I came out a couple days later and I brought my motorcycle and I parked the car way off in the distance, kind of by that barrage. Let me see here. There's a big boulder where I came from, and there's a good spot where I park the car and I hide the car there. So what I did was I brought the motorcycle out so that I could check the odometer and see the distance that we hiked. So I started my odometer where we parked the car and I drove to this location right here. In fact, I drove right over there where we were planning to stay the night. Okay, so I got all the way out here, and on the odometer it clocked out to 4.2 miles. 4.2. Now that's one way, so by the time you consider the round trip of hiking, hiking from there to here and then turning around and going back, that's 8.4 miles of hiking. Now for this type of an overnighter, you can see that we carry a lot of gear. I mean, I've got a pack full of gear. Look at that. This thing's heavy. I've got a lot of camera gear in there. I've got bedding. I've got cooking stuff. I've got a solar panel, all kinds of batteries, camera stuff, first aid. I've got everything in my pack. Food, water, you name it. Water's heavy. So to make the long story short, okay, we went home. We were sore for a couple of days. I did the motorcycle thing. And then we decided we'd come out and give it a second attempt, right? My daughter and I came out again. We made the hike again. 8.4 miles, right? Round trip. But the second time, the forecast didn't show for any wind, so we thought we were going to be okay, but we came out, got winded out again. In fact, the second time the wind was, if not as bad, but might have even been worse than the first time, because the footage that we had the second time was just trash. So here we are. This is my third attempt. Obviously you can see that my daughter's not here with me. That's because that hike is hard. It's 8.4 miles. Now it's a flat hike, but you're wearing hiking boots. You're coming along, it's hot out. It's 70 something degrees. A lot of gear. My daughter likes to camp comfortably, so she's got bedding and all kinds of stuff in her pack. Her pack's heavy for a 15-year-old. So I told her, you know, don't worry about it. I'll do it myself this time. Just stay home, relax, and I'm back. So I hope you guys appreciate the video. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to show you guys some of the things. It's going to be great. Take a look at this view. Again, this is such a beautiful place out here. Look at this. I mean, it goes on for miles in all directions. You can see out here that there's a lot of tracks. You know, car tracks, and those are actually trucks, because a lot of people come out here and they bring quads, they bring motorcycles and trucks. I drive a Nissan Xterra. That Nissan Xterra is really light. In fact, it's kind of funny because if I drive over an ant pile wrong, the damn thing gets stuck. So that's why we hike. There's that rock in that tank that we went to in the windy video, right over there in the distance. So what I'm doing now is I'm coming off of the flat a little bit, coming away from the high windy portion, and my plan is to try to find a place where I can get a little bit out of the wind. And I'm kind of looking over here off in the distance because it looks like there's a little bit of a cove in there, and I think that'll work out pretty good for me. Kind of like a cove. I'm getting kind of tired. I'm ready to set this pack down. It's a lot of work getting in here. Tired. I'm just ready for a water break. You can see this sand is real soft sand, and this is what I'm walking in, and it's just really soft sand, and it's hard hiking once you get off the flat. The flat's real hard surface and it's easy to walk on, but all this sand right here, this stuff is crazy. So I'm looking up over here, I'm looking off in there, and I think this is where I'm going to call it a night. There's not a lot of firewood or anything in this area. I mean, it's very, very remote, the resources out here. Gosh, it's crazy, you know. Oh man, the sand is killing my hiking. It really is. But I'm almost there. I'm not far away. Just getting a little tired. This kind of looks like a decent area right here where I'm at. Oh man. Give you guys a view of what I'm looking at here. I think I'll be safe, and I'll be away from wind and stuff like that here where I'm at. So I think we'll call this spot right in here somewhere. This will be our camp. I'm looking right here at the base of these couple little boulders, and it looked like it might have been an ant pile, so I'm being very cautious of that, and I don't want to be in an area where I have ants crawling all over me, or scorpions for that matter, out here in the Southwest desert. Oh, pleasantly surprised. Look at this. It's a beautiful piece of petrified wood. Look at that. That is just Southwest beauty right there. Man, that is beautiful. Man, that is a beautiful piece. Arizona petrified wood right there. It doesn't get any better than that, folks. It's crazy. For those of you who have never seen petrified wood, you know, you might want to pay attention to the end of this video, because I might be giving one of these away. I know it doesn't have any, financial value, but somebody that doesn't have it in their neck of the woods would probably be a bit interested in winning this. There's a nice piece of chert right there. Wow, that's a beautiful piece. So if I had flint and steel fire, here's more petrified wood. And look at this piece. Oh, more chert. This is just such an abundant place of stuff to collect. I really like this brown chert right here. This piece is really cool. I'm digging that. That's thin, but it's strong enough. Yeah, I think I'll put my pack down right here. Man, that feels so good. Whew. Just the pressure that it relieves off of my hips, off of my back. Oh, it feels so good. Oh, that's such a wonderful feeling to get that off. Here, look at, there's more petrified wood. I just found another piece. Look at that. Good little haul right there for just a couple of minutes hiking in. Isn't that some good looking stuff? So even in a place really far out like this, I still find some brass. 40 Smith & Wesson out here. Ain't that a trip? No, because somebody had to come way out here to drop these guys. What a coincidence, huh? 40 Smith & Wesson. 40 caliber, that's good brass there. And these are fairly new, so pretty cool. Look at that mirage, that's cool. And I found this area right here. It's pretty clean, pretty flat, and looks like it could be a good area to build a shelter. I see a lot of stuff that shows these clay pigeons being used right here. It's kind of interesting. Taking notice as to the position of the sun because I want to reference my shelter a little bit in relation to that. And what I want to do is I'm going to kind of aim my opening of my shelter off in this direction somewhere. Okay, here's a quick look at my shelter for tonight. This is just a simple plow point. I got my walking stick as a pole. I have two guy lines at opposing angles. And this is the opening inside. I think this will serve as a very good shelter for tonight. The only thing that I need to do is I need to get rid of that patch of high spot right there. Right here. And after I clear this, I'll be good to go. I'll put my bedding in and I'll be set. And this isn't even that big of a task. It's not that big of a pile. It's pretty flat. I made sure that the slope of the shelter goes downwards towards the outside because I don't want to wake up with my head hurting. Sometimes if your feet are higher than your head when you go to bed, you'll wake up with a really bad headache in the morning. The next step is to get my drop cloth and put it in as a ground barrier. This will break conduction. This will help keep me warm. This will keep the wind off of me. It'll keep the sun off of me. And in the event that we had some rain, it'll keep the rain off of me too. it's always good to test your bed long before you go call it a night. Because if there's any hard spots or anything that you might notice during the night, it'd be better to notice it now while you can fix it before you lay down for bed. So a good rest or a test, of the bed is very important. I'm testing the comfort of it. I'm making sure that everything is sound. If I have any high spots or low spots or anything hard on my back or wind coming in from any direction, it's important to test it now before you lay down for bed, because if you're going to find anything wrong with your bed or your shelter, it's good to find those things out long before you lay down for the night. Because once you lay down for the night, you're already tired, you're exhausted, and you don't really, at that point, have the energy or the desire to be fixing your bed. So a test of the bed is very important, in my opinion. And this is what I'm looking at. Nothing but wide open space out there. If you ever get caught in a survival situation like this and you're desperate for food, you might look into some desert berries. I found a patch of them right here. That's a joke, folks. This is rabbit poop. What this is really good for, if they're dry like this is good for tinder to help you start your fire. So if you find these desert berries, that's what they're good for, as long as they're dry. I think we need to talk about hydration. I mentioned earlier that hiking, me coming over to this area, take a lot of my hydration out of my body. So I have some Gatorade here. This is Gatorade. I think it's a powdered mix that I mix at home. And you can see this bottle's been around a while. I throw it in my pack all the time. It's 32 ounces. So there's a lot of rules of thumb that come to mind when it comes to hydration. Now I'll share with you a rule that I use, and I think it works very well. Whatever your body weight is, you take half of that in ounces per day. So a 200-pound man or woman should take 100 ounces of water or some sort of good fluid in a day. Now, these are 32 ounces, so 3 of these is what, 96 ounces? So that's close enough. Of course, you can drink more, but this is kind of the rule I like to use, and it's never really gotten me in a pickle or pinch or anything like that. It's a pretty good rule of thumb. It's worked really good for me. Now, the electrolytes, they help replenish things in my body due to the physical exertion of this exercise of hiking. Another thing you can do is you can look at the frequency of your urination. So if you're not peeing, there's a good chance that you're not fully hydrated. If you're peeing a lot, you're probably hydrated. Now you want to take that a step further, and you can look at the color of the urine. And in most cases, if the urine is clear, you're probably pretty good to go. However, that can be a little not so accurate in the effect of if you're taking medication or something like that, then that will definitely affect the color of your urine. So as long as you're not on medication, you're somewhat healthy, I would look at the clear urine thing as well as frequent urination as well. And again, half of your body weight in ounces per day. When I finish drinking this 32 ounces of Pedialyte or Gatorade or whatever you want to call it, I'm going to break out my water filter and I'm going to filter some water into that container. Okay, I'm going to use my BeFree. This thing is really good. I like it. Comes with this little little pouch. I mean, this thing is a good water filter. It's very fast and it's very effective. It's a 0.1 micron filter, so it takes all the nasties out of the water. Comes in this nice little bag. Very small package. It doesn't weigh nothing. Excuse me, and it's a good filter. Now, it doesn't do anything to remove odor or taste out of the water. So what I do for that, I'll show you here. I went to Walmart and I bought one of them little M&Ms things, okay? And then when I get done with the M&Ms, I just pack it full of things. So these are the little Hawaiian Punch. And each one of these, I think, does 16.5 ounces. Don't quote me on that. So I've got that. I got a little tea and I got some number 4/0 steel wool. 4/0 steel wool is good to have around camp. You want to clean your pots or pans or something like that. You can also use it for fire starting. Now this says add to bottled water. It says 20 ounces. So, well, it says take a sip from a 16.9 ounce bottle, which is this guy right here. I roll them up. I compact them so they fit easily in my pack. They're not big. And then when I get out where I'm going, I have a water bottle. And I know that this is 16.9 ounces. Okay, and it doesn't weigh nothing. It's not like carrying a big heavy Nalgene bottle if you've got a long hike like this. So this is something good to take. Now it says on the back of this Hawaiian Punch here, take a sip from a 16.9 ounce bottle of water, or half a liter, and make room for the powder. Okay, and then you put the powder in this bottle, and then in my case, I would filter some of this water through my BeFree into this, and I've got a good flavor. So that's going to keep me hydrated. Now, this flask here, this Hydrapak, this is 100 ounces. So this is 3 liters. I don't know if you can see it right there by my finger, but this is 3 liters of water. So this is the amount of water that I'm expecting to drink before this trip's over. So if I have half of this full, apparently I didn't drink enough water, unless I had other sources of water at my disposal. But these little water flasks, they're perfect. You don't have to measure anything. A lot of your hydration packs that come with your backpacks and things like that, a lot of those are also 100 ounces. So just keep that in mind. And it's a very good process. It works good. So I'll show you the filtration step real quick. So I'm going to take this, and this water here that's residual water, this was just leftover water that was in the water bottle from the factory. So this water is not contaminated water. So I'm going to take this, put this in there, just like that. It's very simple. It's a good process. This is a good habit to get into. Hawaiian Punch tastes good too. Nice and sweet. Gives you a good mood, you know. If you're tired and you've been hiking all day or something, or you've been exhausted, and then you sip on some nice Hawaiian Punch, it feels good, you know. It almost boosts the morale a little bit, you know. Puts you in a good mood, makes you feel good. Makes you a little bit happy, right? I just spilled some water on my pants. That's okay. So now this filter has been sitting, so it's dry. So what I have to do is when I first put it on, I got to make sure that it's wet. I got to give it a little bit of time, because I can't just start filtering right away. Got to make sure that it's saturated. And then once it's good and saturated, then I should be able to filter this water. Okay, so this is just water that I collected from the tap before I left the house. So technically I probably don't even have to do this step, but it never hurts to do it. This BeFree is it's a fast filter. Kind of slow right now because it's just starting out. The microfiber or hollow fiber membranes are just barely warming up. They just barely got wet, so the flow rate's not at the high capacity of flow rate what it would normally be at. It just takes this filter a little bit of time to get warmed up, so to speak. So hydration, again, I can't stress it enough, especially out here in the Southwest where I live in the desert. hydration is everything. If you don't have water out here, you're not going to do so well. You're going to have a hard time. So hydration is crucial. Okay, so I'm going to set that Hydrapak down. Give this a little cap here. Shake that baby up and get all the powder out of it. Shake it till all the powder's gone. Right? And these little bottles are pretty durable. I have one pack at home. It's an old REI pack, and I've had the same little bottle in there for a long time. I'd say at least a couple of years. And I've went on all kinds of trips. So there's my Hawaiian Punch. Let's give that a taste. So if you got a really crappy water source that you're getting water from, this makes the water so much better. That's like liquid candy right there. It's good stuff. Again, this is half of a liter. So this red is half of this. Man, that tastes good. Definitely helps make the water taste a lot better. So hydration, it's important. I'm sure I'll be going to pee here pretty soon. That's a good thing, especially if you're eating food. If you're eating food or you have rigorous activity, hydration is important. You need that hydration to lubricate all your joints in your body. And if you're processing food, you need that hydration to create the acids to digest the food. So it's not just for keeping you alive, it's for body function. And if you're going to the restroom after you eat the food, digest the food, and you got to pass that by going to the bathroom, you need the water then too. Yeah, that Hawaiian Punch does an excellent job at masking the flavor of whatever water you got. It's good stuff. So those are my tips. Those are my recommendations on hydration. Half your body's weight in ounces per day. This is a new panel that I got. Before I got that one, I was using this other one. This one is the Easy-Act. This is the one that I had on my boat. This is the one that fell in the water. It only had 2 panels. It fell in the water and it stopped working. So I ordered this one, and it was like literally to the day, the day that this one arrived, this one started working again. I don't know if you can see that red indicator light, but it definitely started working. It's producing power again. So now I have 2 good solid solar panels that work really great. This one's like, don't quote me, but I'm wanting to say it's like 15 watts or something. This one's like 20 or 25 watts. So it puts out a little more power, charges my batteries a little faster, but surprisingly, this one has worked very well. Even though it quit and came back to life. You can see right here on the buckles where they rusted out a little bit on the grommets, but the panel itself still works great. Again, you can see that the light is on, and it definitely charges. I use this one to charge my phone. So now what I do, now that I have the new one, is I take the new one with me on trips where it's going to be dry, and I take this old one like on the boat and stuff like that. Self-defense. How are you going to defend yourself when you're out in such a remote place like I am? Look at my shelter down there. I mean, it's just me and the desert out here. Now normally, you know, people don't bother us too bad out here, you know, but we come out a lot, out to the woods. We come out to remote places like this, and I never expect to be harassed or to be jumped or have some crazies roll in, but in the back of my mind, I'm always prepared for that to happen. Okay, I'm always thinking about that, and maybe that's the martial artist in me that thinks like that. You know, I'm always prepared for something to come around the corner. I'm always prepared for things like that. So if it comes down to a self-defense type situation, I would like to believe that the amount of experience that I have as a martial artist would definitely prepare me for those types of situations. You know, I have a black belt in karate. I also have a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And I'm not saying that to be bragging or anything like that, but I honestly feel that I'd be okay if something happened, okay? But that's not really the point that I'm trying to make. I'm trying to make the point of I don't pick the fights. But sometimes, folks, the fights pick you. You know, you might have some crazy roll up, and even though you're not the type of person that would be causing any trouble, sometimes trouble comes to you. So you got to be prepared. You got to have some sort of skill, some sort of plan, some sort of training. Okay, now I mentioned that I'm a martial artist, but that doesn't mean that I have a big S on my chest, okay? I don't. You know, and I feel like no matter how much martial arts experience a person might have, or how many medals they won, or how many tournaments they competed in, none of that really truly matters. And I'll tell you why. Because when it comes to a situation where somebody wants to do you in, a 12-year-old with a handgun can do that to you. So you have to be prepared for situations like that. You can't expect or rely on your martial arts experience to get you out of every pickle in your life. Okay? Sometimes you're out in a remote location like this, and you never know. People come out here to these flats, right out here. A lot of high schoolers, you know, they come out here to party. They get away from their family. They get a little drunk. They get a little high. Okay, and then next thing you know, they're bulletproof and they're giving you a bunch of shit. So you have to be ready to deal with those situations. Now, I know I'm getting a little bit long-winded, but there's a point here. And the point is, look at me. I'm weighing in about 170 pounds. But I'll tell you one thing. I'm concealed. And I would have never told you that. You probably would have never known. I have a Springfield XDS here. 9mm. I'm always prepared for situations. No matter what. I have my martial arts experience, and I also have something that'll even the odds very quickly. Even though it's a 9mm, it's not a real heavy round. It's still a round that'll get someone's attention, and like I said, it'll even odds very quickly. My daughter also carries a pistol. She's only 15, but she's my daughter, and she comes with me, and whenever we come out together, she carries a stub-nose 38. So, and she does jiu-jitsu too. So I'm just saying, you know, if we run across a mountain lion, we run across a pack of coyotes. Well, coyotes aren't really dangerous anyway. They just howl. They run off more than anything. I've seen them all my life, and I've never seen one get crazy, unless they're on rabies. You know, then they get nuts. But, you know, I'm just saying, self-protection is very, very important. It's not that I want to come around yielding a firearm or anything like that. I'm not looking for trouble, you know, but again, like I said, sometimes you don't pick the fight. Sometimes the fight picks you. So be prepared, always. There's my camp down there. So here's a view of where I came from. That boulder way over there. This is where I've hiked to. Okay, that's where that rock was, and then that tank, that's where we went the other day when it was windy. And then you look way off to the south. Up on the top of that hill, I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but there's a tank, a water tank. And then right over those hills is Winslow. That's where I live. The other day I came out Here's another piece of chert. But the other day, look at that. There's another natural hole in a rock. So if you had the ability to make friction fire, there's your bearing block right there. That looks like a good one too. Natural hole in a rock. Nice natural bearing block. Pretty cool. Now here's something to take notice of right here. These two areas right here. So in the event that you have any kind of rain, these are going to collect water. And that might be all the water you got to get from. But that would be some good drinking water. And then of course it'll flow down. You might even be able to put your cup down there and catch it when it falls. Now look at all this petrified wood. Wow, there's a bunch of it right there. This whole area, look at these pieces. This is a pretty big score. That thing's big as my foot, almost. This is all petrified wood. Those are beautiful pieces. Look at that. Really pretty. This stuff is beautiful. Look at that. Look at these colors. Man, that is beautiful. This is just such a pretty place. Look at that. That is just crazy. This whole area right here is just covered petrified wood. So now I know where that tree is. I go directly to the north, about 50 yards, to a petrified wood forest. Right? Pretty crazy. Look at all that. That is pretty cool. Now some people would come over here and steal all that and take it, but you know, that's nature, that's natural. I like seeing it when I come out. I like coming out and looking at that. That is just beautiful. That is part of Arizona. That is just amazing. Beautiful pieces. And they're heavy. It is definitely God's creation, without a doubt, folks. Chert is what I'm always looking for. Chert. Because I like flint and steel fire. Here's some right here. This is a piece. You can always tell that it's chert because it has that glassy kind of look to it. It doesn't look like a sedimentary rock. It's more of a glassy look. Breaks off really clean. Here's another piece. This one would make excellent sparks. It's a good piece of chert. You know, I have so much chert at home. It's kind of funny. I get picky now when I'm out looking for it. I look for pieces that are perfect, that are already broke, already have a sharp spot on them. Now look at this one. This is kind of neat. Got a little divot in it almost. These are kind of neat, just looking at different rocks and getting out here. You know, I'm alone out here. I don't have my daughter for company, so I'm out here just kind of entertaining myself. So I come out and I look around and I see what kind of things are available for me. There's a tree over here, and there's only one tree in this whole area, and that's it. When I was a little kid, when my great-grandfather was still alive, and you're going to think I'm crazy when I say this, but this is the honest truth. We would come out walking. I just found another piece of chert. And my grandpa, my great-grandpa rather, okay, we'd be out walking. And he'd see something and he'd go on a beeline, like towards it. And I never knew what he was looking for, but that guy had the best eye for arrowheads that I've ever seen. He used to find them like it was nothing. It's crazy. There's one tree out here, I mean, for miles. One little tree, and that's it right there. And a ton of chert. So as a survivalist, I'm sitting here thinking, I need to check out my resources. I need to see what's available, because you never know. Just putting that knowledge in my head that there is a tree out here at Tucker, where I'm at, is flats. Just that knowledge could save my life someday. A single tree out here by its lonesome in the middle of nowhere. That's crazy. There is a resource here for sap. So if you needed some glue or some first aid, that's your ticket right there. You need some tinder. I love the smell of this. That smells good. It's pretty crazy. So there's a resource right there, and it's a healthy tree. I don't know if you caught me saying that before my battery died, but look at these little berries. Little juniper berries right there. So something is definitely using these for food. Probably coyotes. They eat these juniper berries. I love the smell, but that is a good resource out here. And it's funny because look at how vast this area is. Look at how vast. That's town. That's where I'm coming from. The painted desert out there. Crazy. And then one tree. That's crazy. Crazy. Simple things for simple minds, right? One tree. It's good to know that it's here, though. And I'm also taking notice of these little yuccas. These little yuccas. Those are good for making cordage. You know, I could bang this against the spine of my knife and create a spark. Now if I have some sort of charred material, char cloth to be more specific, I can use this spark to go into that cloth and then blow that into a fire. So this is good stuff. This is good resources to know about. It's definitely something I don't want to forget. They're small here. When I go to New Mexico, the yuccas are a lot bigger. These ones are babies compared to the New Mexico ones that I'm used to seeing. Maybe they're a different species, I'm not quite sure. Pretty neat though. There's some coyote dropping. Right there by my toes. Hope you guys are having fun, because I certainly am. This is a blast. I'm enjoying it. So I just hiked down and got the GoPro so I could set up a second angle to get the time lapse of the sun going down. Man, I'll tell you what, for those of you who don't create YouTube videos, this is a lot of work sometimes, because you're hiking down, you're hiking up, you're going to get cameras, going back for batteries, coming back. It's a lot of work. But it's an enjoyable work. So that's why we as content creators really appreciate it when you guys give us some love, because some of these videos do take a lot of effort. I'm just chilling right now. There's a little divot in the rock and it is so comfortable right now. I'm just relaxing because gosh, doing some of this camera work, it really is work. It takes a lot out of your body. I'm tired. So I'm just relaxing. Right now I'm taking a look. And I'm just chilling. And I'm looking up at you and beyond you, and all I can see is clear blue skies. Beautiful. I'm waiting for the time to start this GoPro right here. I'm waiting on the sun to be about an hour and then I'll set my time lapse. I'll tell you what, I am so comfortable right now. This rock has been absorbing the heat all day, and the temperatures are starting to cool down. But the rock is still warm, and I literally fell asleep just a few minutes ago. And I keep looking up over this shelf that's behind you, up at the sun, and I'm using fist time. So what I do is I look at the horizon, okay, and I put my hand parallel to the horizon. So I put it right on the horizon, and I count each finger as to where the sun is. So if this is the sun, right, and I got 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour. So if the sun's a little bit above that, then I kind of anticipate how much time it's going to take for the sun to go down. And that's what I'm doing right now. I have about 2 hours of daylight left. Okay, I'm going to try to give you a description of hand time. So from my point of view, right here, if I put my hand on the horizon, you can see that the sun is right to the top of my fingers, okay, like that. So that would say, you know, and I have to put my pinky down here flush with the horizon. When I do that, I count each finger. I don't use my thumb, but I count each finger as 15 minutes roughly. So I know that I have about an hour, a little over an hour of sunlight left until this sun's going to be down. So that's how I use fist time. I'm going to go down there so that I have a good dark area to practice with my chert and see if they make sparks. This is kind of cool. A lot of rocks around me, so I have a very good area to practice my flint or my chert against my still. I didn't want any kind of wind, and I didn't want any kind of light. So I wanted to use this area so I could see my sparks flying. See if my chert's working. There's some pieces of chert that are already in my kit that I've had from before. And these pieces of chert work good. They're from this area. So in here I keep a little bit of steel wool. This is 4/0 steel wool. And I'll just use little pieces of that for this experiment. And that's really what it is. It's really an experiment to try these pieces. Now let's see, what do I have there? I got a battery in my pocket and 3 pieces of chert. Let me put the battery back. Okay, so the 3 pieces of chert that I picked up are like this. They're pretty flat pieces. I like them. I think they're going to work very well. But I just want to see, I want to make sure that they're viable, that they work. So I'm going to set them right here in this pocket for right now. And what I like to do is I'll take a little bit of the steel wool per piece, and I like to open up the fibers a little bit, and because I'm trying to get the spark that it generates to jump on those fibers. So I just kind of fold it like that. Then I get a good solid hold on this piece of chert, and wow, look at that. I definitely had ignition. I don't know if you caught that. Look at that steel wool just going to town. Oh, it's stuck to my thumb. Look at that. Woo, it fell. But it was definitely good. So this piece I know is good. Back to the pocket. Let's try the next one. Okay, so I'm going to get another little piece of steel wool out. Steel wool is good because it's easier to get at the hardware store, and I don't have to worry about expending it like I would char cloth. Because char cloth I have to make it, and this I just buy a bundle of it and it lasts forever. Okay, so let's try this next one. So I have this piece. It's pretty cool. So let's take a look. I'm just, like I said, I open the fibers up and then I just kind of lay it flat. And I'm seeing a lot of sparks. There we go. We had it, but it went out. Okay, let's keep trying. There. Look at that. Woo, there it goes. So that one is good. Gonna go in the pocket, right? Look at that. It's just making really good sparks. So there's two pieces that are good. We're down to our last piece. This one has kind of a round bottom on it. So, and I don't think I need that much of this steel wool. So I'm going to set the rest down. No need wasting it. You know, so I just open them up a little bit. I'm going to set it right here. And what I like for this to have is this flat edge right here. So I just kind of hold it with my thumb, fold it over a little bit. And you got to make sure that you hold this nice and solid so that when you strike, you don't want to strike your fingers or you'll get one of these guys, like little cuts on your hand. So make sure you keep your hands completely inside of this still and just give it a nice downward strike. Bam. Look at that. Bam. There it goes. Quick. Whoo. Look at that. I'm going to get you down there. It's dying, but so those three rocks definitely worked. Very good rocks for making flint and steel fire. Look at them sparks. Beautiful sparks. Good pieces of chert. Man, I'm happy. I'm just really happy. So this is the steel wool that I didn't use. I just put it right back on top of the piece. And put my striker back in here. And I already have 3 good pieces. You know, I always test them before I put them in my kit, because I don't want pieces in there that I know don't work. So they don't go in here unless they work. So there we go. We got a good flint and steel kit. Got plenty of steel wool. And this is 4/0 steel wool for those of you who might not know. And a lot of you already know, but I'll say it anyway. I use a camera bag for my fire kit. It works really good. So I'm happy I got more chert. Looks like there's a foothold here, but I don't know. I don't know if I can get my foot that high. I'm getting old. So let's see, how am I going to get out of here? Let's see, there's hardly anything for my foot right here. There. Now I can put my foot in there. There, I made it out alive. Watching the sunset go down, and it is so beautiful. This is just amazing. take my boot laces and I make an overhand knot with like a slip knot here. Okay? Just like that. Hopefully you can see that. And then what I'll do is I'll take the sock and I'll put the driest, most upper part inside, and I'll leave the rest of the sock hanging out. Okay? So then what I do is I take my boot right up here on the center pole. Hopefully you can see that right there. And I just hang it. Just like that. So now my boots are sitting there hanging. And the reason I do this, the reason this is so important, is because I don't want to wake up with scorpions in my boots. And what they do, they like to get into warm areas during the night, and then they'll be down in the bottom of your boot in the morning. So make sure you do this, but still check them in the morning, because those scorpions still have ways of getting into things. I'm gonna head to bed. I'm tired. Temperatures are supposed to get into the high 20s, low 30s. I feel fine right now. It's about 50 degrees out right now, and I am completely comfortable, not cold at all. I feel great. So I'll see you guys in the morning. I hope you guys sleep well. Good night. So right now I'm just kicking back. I'm in my shelter, and I'm just really enjoying this March overnighter. It's a lot of fun. I made a plow point design, out of my tarp here as my shelter. It's just been amazing. There's no place I'd rather be right now than out here right now. It's this trip's been great. The wind has been low. It hasn't been bad at all. The video's turning out okay. I've been working my tail off running these cameras up and down up and down the plateau, trying to get certain shots and stuff like that. All my gear has been pretty light for this trip. I mean, my shelter is just real laid back. Nothing to it. I'm just looking out the towards the feet. You can see my pole over there. It's just a very minimal shelter this time, and I like it that way. And I think there's so many people that get caught up in having to have tents and having to have this and having to have that, and they really forget what life's about. Yeah, you got to be comfortable and you got to be happy or whatever, but you could, if you have the right knowledge and the right techniques that you can employ, you can go very, very light, very minimal, and still be extremely happy and extremely comfortable. I have a bedroll sitting on a drop cloth. I've got a couple blankets. I have a wool blanket down here, this gray one, and then I have a white polyester blanket, and I just use those as pillows. And if it gets cold, I roll them out on top of me and I have more warmth. So it's just having the understanding of battling the heat loss mechanisms. I've done videos on that before where people can understand, the heat loss, conduction, convection, respiration, radiation, perspiration. When you understand and can manipulate those, it really makes life a lot better. So I'm having fun. Good morning. It is so bright out right now. Wow. Good morning. Talk about a bad hair day. Woo. I slept really good last night. Slept great. My hair's all jacked, I can tell. All matted up in the back. Got to be careful. You don't want to just put your boots on just yet. It's always important to look through them, make sure that something didn't crawl inside of them during the night. So start with the socks. Give them a good once over, make sure there's nothing on your socks. I can see already that there's a moth on one of my boots. Right here, there he goes. So then I'm just visually looking down inside of my boots. What I like to do is I like to visually look in each one, and then I take the heels and I bang the heels together. Something like that. Make sure there's nothing inside. Looking down in there, because I have had times where I've gotten scorpions in my boots. So today they look okay though. That's just a good practice to get into. You don't want to wake up and put your foot right on top of a scorpion. That's the start of a bad day if you do that. I slept really good last night. It was very quiet out here. I mean, it was silent. Very quiet. I didn't hear no coyotes. I didn't hear nothing. You know, the last 2 overnighters that I did, January and February, both of them, I had coyotes howling all night. But not here. No, it was very peaceful last night. Very, very quiet. So my plan is to get up, get camp broke, and get off and start my day. I slept good. The temperatures weren't bad. I think the coldest that it got to last night was about 27 degrees, and that was probably, what, between 3 and 4 in the morning. And it wasn't bad. My feet got a tiny bit cold. Not bad. Nothing like last month. Last month, my feet were very cold. But this time it wasn't nothing like that. They were just a little bit mild cold. Woke up, my hair was all matted up. So I had to get all the mats out of my hair. In fact, I'm going to comb it again right now. So I slept like a baby. I slept really good. I felt good. I was comfortable. There was no hard spots or high spots or stickers or anything underneath my bedding. Nothing like that. Like I said, it was pitch quiet. I mean, there was no sound. Zero. No sound at all. And that was kind of interesting. One thing that I liked about the way I positioned my shelter was the opening here to my plow point was pointed towards the east. I kind of planned it that way last night because I knew when the sun would come up that it would warm up the east end of my shelter, which was my feet. So that worked out pretty good. Now, I want to talk about that real quick, about your feet getting cold. Sometimes if your feet or your fingers, you know, your extremities get cold, that's because your body's core temperature is getting cold. So a lot of people have the misconception thinking that their feet are cold and that's the problem. No, it's not the feet that's the problem. It's your core temperature. So if you're getting cold hands or cold feet, I highly recommend that you look into warming up your core, because what happens is the blood vessels in your extremities will tighten to try to force blood into the core of your body to keep you warm, the circulation. And so if you start warming up your core temperature, your extremities will generally start warming up. My bedroll, my bedding, everything like that was perfect. I didn't have no issues. And I never got hungry. I snacked on some almonds. I did bring a bunch of food. In fact, I had my stove here. I even lit it last night, but I screwed up. When I lit this, I thought I was filming, right? But I had left the camera on time lapse. So I thought I was doing all this great footage, had my light and everything, trying to make the footage look good. And it didn't turn out. I just took a time lapse of it. But what I was gonna do is I was gonna make some soup, but ended up not needing to. So maybe next month I'll make that soup. Not really even that hungry, to be honest with you. So that's my dirty shema. And lastly, my walking stick. So let's go ahead and get on out of here. This was a fun trip. It's time to start hiking out of here. I think of all the overnighters that I've done so far, this one has been probably my funnest one. I can hear gunfire off in the distance over here. There's a little shooting area out there a lot of people go to. So when I get hiking close to that area, I got to be aware of gunfire. You know, people out there with handguns and stuff. So anyway, I want to say thank you for joining me today on this March 2018 overnighter. I hope you had as much fun as I did. It was a blast. I really enjoyed this one. Temperatures weren't bad at all. The wind cooperated. The wind cooperated with us finally. Gosh, after having all these trials and tribulations when it comes to wind, finally cooperated. Man, that's good. So, thanks for joining me. I'm going to get to hiking, and I will see you next month in April. I'm starting to think that the temperatures might be good for a cool location. So stay with me. Thanks for stopping by. God bless you all. I love you all. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye. Oh, this sand is murder. It is murder to walk on. Okay, folks, as promised, here is the haul that I brought back from my March overnighter. Now, these pieces backpacked out with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces of petrified wood and 6 pieces of Arizona chert. Now, all of these pieces of chert have been tested with my fire steel, and they all work. So for flint and steel fire, if you have a good steel striker of high carbon steel, these will work, or a file, you know, or a hacksaw blade. So if you're interested in this, please leave a comment down below, and in your comment say I'm in. Okay, and what I'll do is I'll let from the moment that the video gets published, I will wait 30 days, and after the 30 days from the date that the video publishes, I will do a drawing, and somebody will win this petrified wood and this chert. Okay, so I will ship it to you anywhere. You don't have to be a subscriber. I would certainly hope that you are. Now, this piece is very unique because it looks like it had a nail or something in it. It's heavy though. So please leave a comment, and again, 30 days and somebody's gonna win this. Now, it doesn't have any money value or anything like that. It's more personal value because I brought it out with me. These are the pieces I picked up, and they'll be going to you. Thanks for watching. Have a beautiful day. I love y'all. Good luck.